Thanks for joining us on the NBC Connecticut YouTube page. We're doing Face the Facts this morning. Our guest is Mark Raymond. He's the Chief Information Officer for the state of Connecticut. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks for
having me. We're talking about cybersecurity. It's an expertise that he has throughout the state. Specifically, a report came out regarding the safety of our systems here in Connecticut when it comes to the electrical grid, the water system. What did we learn from that?
So for the last 3 years, we've been working with our utilities in a collaborative manner to investigate their controls and demonstrate for the citizens that we're taking cybersecurity seriously, and our utilities are as well. Mm-hmm. You know, water, electricity are the lifeblood of our economy. We have to make sure that we protect that critical infrastructure. So our report told us that they are taking it very seriously, both in investment of people, time, money, resources, and they have improved over the last several years. But one of the sort of interesting or difficult findings was that there's a discrepancy between what they find when they look at their own systems and what's being broadly reported by our federal intelligence community. Our utilities can't find evidence of any kinds of incursion within their environment, but the federal intelligence community believes that those things have occurred.
And there's reason to believe, as we've seen in the news, that the Russians have shut down, was it Ukraine's power grid not too long ago? Yeah. So it seems as if that's something, foreign actors are working on. So how do we fix that gray area between what the federal government sees and what the reports of our local utilities see?
Yeah, and while we fully appreciate and respect the need of the intelligence community to protect some of their information and sources, we need a much greater degree of technical information sharing that helps the utilities understand if there is something really there, what that looks like. So working with the U.S. Department of Energy, working with Homeland Security, working with the intelligence community, getting access to some of that detailed information on how we might spot something if it is really there.
And oftentimes when we do reports on cybersecurity breaches, sometimes whatever their inroad is into the computer system or the system they're trying to hack, it sits there quietly for a long time, and then they can make it act at a time when nobody's looking. And I guess that's probably like computer whack-a-mole.
Yeah, the intelligence community or the foreign actors often will spend a lot of time in the network doing reconnaissance, making sure that they're fully prepared before they launch an attack. So if they're in for a longer period of silent time. Someone like a cyber criminal that's looking to do ransomware may once they're in, launch their attacks much more quickly.
Right, because they know that they can just hold everything ransom and then they'll eventually get paid, which has actually happened in Wolcott school system. Theirs, at the beginning of the school year, they had no access to their computers, their grades, their curriculum, and they had to work out a ransom deal with the people who stole the data. Yeah,
it's not uncommon, unfortunately. And, having good backups to make sure that you can restore, and having a base level of cyber hygiene on who's on your network, what can they have access to, that you have offline backups are all critically important. And our schools sometimes are under-resourced on the technology level, so they have a difficult time putting in place some of these important practices.
When it comes to the utilities, our electrical grid, our water system, or even our nuclear power plants, if there is an upgrade that's needed, and after the investigation that it's been decided, okay, we really need to take our cybersecurity to another level, who pays for it? Do the ratepayers pay for it? Do the federal government pay for it? Do the state government pay for it?
Yeah, most often our local utilities are regulated by the state. So a utility would determine that it needed to make an investment, and if they turned around and said that was something that would require them to raise the rates, they would have to come to PURA, our regulatory authority, to ask for a rate increase to be able to do that.
And do you think that's likely because of this gray area between where the federal government sits and where this report sits?
So far, there hasn't been a specific ask around rates to improve on cybersecurity, and again, our utilities are treating this very seriously today, so they are spending a good amount of money on that. I think that that's going to continue, and as the threat grows, they may require additional resources to do so, but we don't have any indication that would affect our rates at this point.
So keep our eyes open on our bill when they say, guess what's happening coming up soon. Mark Raymond, we appreciate your time. The state's Chief Information Officer. Did I get it right?
You did perfectly.
All right. So. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. We have a lot more great stories here on Face the Facts. Check a few more out.
This is Face the Facts with NBC Connecticut.